Hey, what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? Welcome to the eye test. As usual, I'm your host, Mark, and I'm with my pal Sean. Sean, how you doing tonight?
Doing all right, man. The heat is killing me out here, man. We hit like 115 today in Vegas, so I'm still trying to recover from that.
Yeah, well, we're at a cool 95 right now. So in Philadelphia, and I only say cool because it's less than 115, but at least you don't got to deal with the humidity that's going on
About to
now.
say you still not happy though. You
No,
still
not
not
at all.
happy.
Not at all. Not at all. This shit sucks. Um,
Yeah.
like just being honest, man, this is kind of trash. Um, but man, sports is back once again. Like we're into the official start of the NBA, and I'm loving it, man. I enjoy what we see so far. But before we get into the good stuff, let's just deal with the bad. Deal with some of the stuff that isn't so fun to talk about. We're gonna talk. Let's just start with Andre Iguodala. So, um, you're familiar with the situation with Andre Iguodala. You want to shed light on it?
Well, I'll just let's just talk about how it started
Yeah, let's do
because it obviously evolved into something else. Um, a bunch of name calling back and forth, taking shots at each other. But he said hey, number 23 on the Mystics, she's nice, and apparently number 23 on the Mystics didn't like that, so she tweeted back, said, "Hey, look, either you say my name, or you might as well just delete the whole tweet. Saying put some respect on my name and leave it at that." And I'm just like, okay, so that's where we're going with it. That's where we're taking it. That's how we took that. Okay. Clearly, Iggy was just trying to shoot a compliment, when in a scenario when, let's keep it a buck, outside of Kobe, I don't recall any other NBA players really out there shouting out the WNBA players. Maybe LeBron's probably done it just because he's LeBron, but come on, man.
Just because he's LeBron, what does that mean?
He literally has been in the media since he was 16, and LeBron does everything the way it's quote unquote supposed to be done.
So you're saying he
So
does
if
things just for clout?
no, I think he does things because he believes it's the right thing to do.
Uh,
Sometimes he
okay.
does those things, and it's not really what's truly in his heart, is what I'm saying.
So just for clout, then he does it because it it protects his shield. It protects his good boy image. Is that what you're telling me?
When he goes out of his way to do something, it's not in protection. It's for credit.
Uh, right.
If you understand what I'm saying.
I,
When I say credit, I mean, yeah, credit within the public view, credit within the media. He wants to stack that credit up, man, and eventually what happens is now you got people, riding with you like they Richard Jefferson,
mm, I,
trying to tell everybody, yes, I name drop Richard Jeff. That boy crazy, man.
well,
That boy crazy.
I feel what you're saying, and I'm trying to clarify. You're saying that he does it for clout.
I'm not saying for clout, man. I'm just telling you.
That's what it sounds like you're saying.
Well, yeah, it ain't clout. If you tell your kids this is how I want you to be X Y Z, and then they do it, is that for clout?
Yeah, they looking for the kudos and not the asses.
Stop it, man.
Like, what are you
Stop it,
talking
man.
about?
Stop it,
Yes,
man.
yeah.
Maybe they just good kids. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they said
But that's what I
this is
asked you.
right. Whether I want to do it or not, this is the right thing to do. So
But
I'm
see,
gonna
that's
do
what
it.
I asked you. I asked you, is he doing it because he's a good person? And you said, no, he's doing it because it helps build something. Like, so that's what I asked.
But he is a good person. I just don't think he wake up in the morning and have these things on his mind that he jumps out there to say or do. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying he's embellishing, Mark. I'm saying maybe he feels like, man, WNBA doesn't get enough credit. But he doesn't leave it there. No, he takes it up a notch before he spits it out of his mouth. Is what I'm telling you.
Okay.
He spices it up for clout, but it's
Okay.
You know what I mean.
So
There
he
we
gets
go.
spicy for clout. Understood. So
Yeah, man. He gave her a compliment. She took it left really quickly, and basically told him to just don't speak about her unless he's using her name. Apparently, she taking that as disrespect. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and then it escalates into a bunch of name calling, um, back and forth, and you know, it ends up in, you know, Iguodala saying that he don't want his daughter to join the WNBA because he don't want her to be a lesbian. It's all kind of stuff, man. So it didn't need to go to these places, but my issue ain't where it went. My issue is how it got there. I'm trying to understand. I understand to a certain degree. Hey, okay, 2023 from the Mystics. Okay, he could have Googled that in a few seconds. He could have, you know. Um, who knows if he was just watching something at the time and it was just the heat of the moment tweet. But you know, she's like, yo, you can say my name. You can at least figure out my last name. You got names on the jerseys, you know, like.
no. Look. All right. Time out. You play sports.
Yeah.
I play sports.
Yeah.
You were in the military.
Yeah.
I was in the military.
Yeah.
So in playing sports, how many people knew your actual name, like knew it for real, knew you personally, but called you by your number when you were playing?
I'll tell you what, in football was the only time that I experienced that.
Right. In football, it happens a lot.
In football, though. In football. Continue.
Okay. So you're saying it's a football exclusive thing.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is the only part only part of her reaction that I can understand is, okay, it only takes 5 seconds. But is that really something to get that upset about when you have, you know, Andre Iguodala, you know, what is he now? Is he a 4-time champion? You know, like,
hey, he's a Finals MVP.
I feel like whatever little bit that you feel about him not saying the name, you take that, you take that, and matter of fact, you could be playful with it. You could have responded back and be like, you know, hi, my name is such and such, number 23. You know, say she could have done anything,
but my name is Powers. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, but
anything, man. Come on, man.
Like so, yeah. I guess I feel a little bit more strongly about this than you do, because but my annoyance is the fact that, like I said, how many times have you heard somebody that knows you personally call you by your number? Like, it happens. Like, it's a common occurrence. And I brought up the military thing is because people know my first name. People will be friends with me by my first name, know my first name, know who I am, but call me by my last name. As if my first name doesn't even exist. Like when we were in the military. And I wouldn't be like, yo, I got a first name, dog. It's just like I feel as though in the moment he was speaking a language that maybe one would assume she understood. And then she apparently all of a sudden didn't understand it and got offended because of, I guess, because of what's going on in the times, for particularly like I'm reading here where they're saying in a time where women are marginalized, this and I don't want to say this, that, and third because that kind of marginalize the fact that women are being marginalized. But so, but like they're saying that women are being marginalized, and with Breonna Taylor, like the whole "say her name" stuff, and the WNBA is going through issues of being marginalized, and I think all in anytime they're reporting on players, oftentimes they get players' names wrong, and I think that all that kind of was into one ball for Powers, and she just she just turned and pointed her gun at the wrong person, like
Yeah, I could see that.
you know what I'm saying. I feel as though she turned the gun and pointed it at the wrong person. Like I got a name, like yo, I was like I know I almost feel as though like he knows her name. He's just like yo,
Yeah.
I know what your name is. I was just that was just my way of speaking of you. Like and then it's like and then the way that you took it instead of like the way that you took it, because I'm paying you a compliment and the way that you took it, like Doug, it was a little rude. Like I understand if
Hmm.
you felt as though that he was being rude, but like it's just like you you're feeding a bad situation. Like you're feeding it to only go another one particular way. Like I mean, but
Yes.
Andre could have also said, because I'm going to be fair, because Andre could have also said like, "Oh, I meant no offense," um, but he could have said, "I meant no offense. I was just trying to pay a compliment." But he
See,
typed out manners. so so
but this is what I'll also say. See, and that's another problem with Twitter, man. So he could have said something. It might not have been that serious, and all it takes is for one person on Twitter to be like, "Damn, he didn't even say your name." You know what I'm
right,
saying? And then they hype it up, they instigate the shit, and then she give her response, and then she gives her response, and of course, once her response come out, man, you go in the comment section, they like, a bunch of crying, laughing emojis. Yo, she flaming him right now, like you know what I'm saying? Like it's like when you I don't know if you've ever been in that scenario
uh,
where you just chilling
Twitter
with
is
a
the
group of
instigator
friends.
Olympics, dog.
Well,
Like
well it's
that's
yeah,
just
it's like I said, like if you've ever been in those scenarios where you're hanging out with your boys, your people and shit, and then all of a sudden somebody says something and it just gets taken the wrong way. But not like the person that's supposed to be taking it the wrong way ain't even the person that takes it the wrong way. It's some dude on the side that's like, oh damn, you gonna let him talk to you like that? And then it just rolls downhill from there. Like
right.
that's what Twitter is every time. It's a group of friends just waiting to instigate a situation that doesn't even exist there. So like 5 minutes on 5 minutes on I say 5 minutes on Twitter, man. A lot can happen in 5 minutes on Twitter.
Right.
Man, by the time Iggy saw the comment, he probably looked through the comments, the replies, and dog. At that point, when you got everybody pointing and laughing at you, you gotta retaliate, man. Like I still would have respected him a lot more if he would have just said, you know what, I ain't even mean it like that. Damn, y'all wilding.
Yeah.
Black Twitter, chill. Something. You know, but nah, man. He fell right into the petty trap.
Right.
Fell right into that shit, man.
So, um, but in the particular game, I do want to shout out Powers because in this particular game, she scored a career high of 27 points, 10 of 14 shooting. So, like, she was also very efficient in her shooting, hitting 4 of 6 deep. She added 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. Like, she was balling. She was playing.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, like Iggy said, that girl nice. Um, but so But like this,
Yeah.
this is just a little bit too much, man. I I think just take the energy down a little bit. Y'all could have figured this out some other way instead of getting with the nonsense. And maybe and maybe she felt some type of way because she was she was ready with that TMZ article. Like like she had that on deck. Like so maybe she already had disdain for Iggy because of the thing that came out on TMZ or wherever it originally came out from, where it says NBA star Andre Iguodala I don't want my daughter playing basketball and becoming a lesbian. Now, mind you, this was information given from his baby's mother, and he says that it was taken out of context. Now, if he said she lying, I would have been like, okay, baby mothers are spiteful sometimes. But he said taken out of context. I don't know what context could be given to where like that's the okay thing to say. Like,
Well, Mark, let me tell you something about that situation. In there's a whole lot of WNBA players that have come out and said that they were being hazed because they weren't lesbians. But I'm not going to get into that. What I'm going to tell you is if he
yeah,
says it's taken out of context, right? But then he won't give you the context, that means expressing the context ain't gonna really help either. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's taken out of context, give me the context. Oh, you don't want to give me the context because it's still gonna sound crazy. Got you.
right. Okay. Right. So, yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Uh, this just didn't have to go where it went, and we don't have to stay here at all. It's just something that's going on in sports that's very interesting.
You know what, man? I think I didn't want to talk about it. It's just because to me it just feels like an eyesore
It
with
is.
everything
It's an
that's happening.
eyesore in a time that we don't need those type of eyesores.
Yes,
Like where you could have,
yes.
you guys could have figured this out. Neither one of you look good in this exchange. So like, so you got to figure that. You should have figured this out some other way. Um, moving on, more bad news for the NBA. So the NBA, ESPN brought out an article, excuse me, that said basically that in China, the Chinese basketball league, basically the players are mistreated by Chinese coaches, and this is basically the latest round of no shit Sherlock. Like, like, we are really like we're talking about a communist country of China where
Ding
they
ding ding.
demand certain things of you, and this is pretty much seems to me like I would expect this as much, which is partly why in the conversation with you before, I believe that we may have had it on this podcast, or we might have had it off air. In case we had it off air, I'm going to recap where basically I was saying that like the NBA makes like it was in the pandering conversation where the NBA makes sure that they put money and they put effort into their dealings in China, but
Mm-hmm.
what are they doing here? And I do
Lo
not
and
believe,
behold.
and yeah, and I do not believe anybody that be like, oh, we didn't know, because the report says that American coaches have been quitting consistently because of the treatment of these Chinese players. So I'm pretty sure that that gets somebody. It doesn't stop at the coach level, like, oh, he quit. Why he quit? I don't know, and then they leave it at that. No, I'm pretty sure
Nah,
it
they
gets
know.
raised up. Well, the NBA coach quit because they're abusing the Chinese players and he can't take it. And they're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay. And then they just leave. Like, so the fact that this is coming out, like, I don't want to hear the NBA say, oh, we didn't know. Now we'll do something about it. Nah, y'all knew the whole time. I don't believe that that's BS. Like, so you guys, this is just an eyesore on you because this was an area where I personally believe that you guys look the other way purposefully. Now, I don't want to say, I hate to say that about somebody that I believe in, like Adam Silver, but I just do not believe that NBA executives did not know what some of this stuff that's going on in China with these Chinese players being abused by Chinese coaches. And some of the abuse is crazy. Like when it comes, like we're talking about throwing basketballs at people's head, kicking them in the chest, like wild, really wild stuff. In the chase to find the next Yao Ming, also not educating these guys properly. It's pretty nasty. So, Sean, how you
Yeah,
feel?
man. Man, yeah, communist country 101. You know what I'm saying? Let everybody know that you're the shit by winning some Olympics or, doing well in sports. Is this a playbook straight out of Russia? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think they was doing? You they shut down their whole gymnastics program not so long ago because of stuff like this. Is it shocking? Not at all. Not even a little bit. What's what's even worse is the part that is still not shocking to me is that the NBA pretty much knows about it and the NBA didn't do nothing about it.
Right.
Okay. Now I did say the same podcast, the same one
Now,
where
now, mind you, the ESPN article doesn't say that the NBA coach that the NBA knows about it. That's our speculation.
yeah, if the NBA doesn't know about it the same way Bill Belichick didn't know nothing about those deflated balls. The same way he don't know nothing about the camera crew hanging out in the press box, at the Bengals game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I guess we can't really prove it
Right.
100%, but come on, we know. Like,
Right.
there's no way that you're sending people over there and these people are communicating back and forth probably on, if not a daily, at least a weekly basis, just because, it's the NBA. You see them as
Right.
assets. You got assets over there. You're going to be checking up on them. Hey, how's it going? What's going on over there? If they, like you said, if they quit, nobody's going to let their business. They're not letting a bunch of people quit without asking a question why, because they want to fix it. Like, hey, we need to get these people to stop quitting. What's going on? At some point, they got to the root of the problem and they know what's going on. I
Right.
can't prove it. That's great. They knew. Okay. But yeah, it seems par for the course for me. I did say in the other podcast, the NBA, they put certain things in the forefront, being innovators, bread, money. They want that bag. You know what I'm saying? And they're chasing the NFL.
Right.
They've been making it they're making it a point. They've been making it a point to say that they want to be America's number one sport. They want to be on top of the NFL. So these are the types of moves that they're making so that they could get there. Like, and once again, when it comes down to it, they could say they care about this, they could care about that, and this is important to them, and social justice, this and all that stuff. Man, at the end of the day, man, if they can find a way, if they can find a way to make bread doing the right thing, they're gonna do it. Admirable. But if bad things are happening and it's fucking up, in the correction process might fuck up their bread, then it gets complicated. Then the NBA doesn't know anything about their coaches quitting over in China. So um, I'm kind of curious to see what else comes of this, to see if there's going to be any more information that spills out. It's China. Their government can control the information that's coming out. So I really think that what we're hearing right now is probably going to be the last of it, sadly to say.
Yeah. Um. I. I mean, I feel strongly that the NBA should have cut their ties with China back when the civil unrest started over there, and somehow that even though there was and somehow they were like disciplining coaches that were speaking out about it, for instead of just saying, okay, we're not dealing with China anymore. They was protecting the bread uh, instead of standing up. So So let's not forget about that situation happening as well, which happened just this year, right before the season started.
That's two, Mark. That's two strikes with China with the NBA, man.
Yeah. So, uh, so yeah, and then, I also think it's funny because Mr. Social Justice himself, LeBron James, in that situation, said more or less like that's their business. And,
he not only did he say this their business, but he even was like, "Hold on, wait a minute now, wait a minute, hold on, everybody, relax, let's just take a deep breath." Like he was on that type of vibe, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And it's like, not only does the NBA have business, like he has personal business over there.
right,
He's like, "Hold on, man, let's slow down,
right.
let's not get
So
too crazy."
see, see, Sean, I could get on this shit on LeBron train too. I could do it too. I,
Hey, look, man, it is what it is, man. His flaws are his flaws, and that
yeah,
right there, that makes it. I can't be mad if somebody says, "Oh, he just out here doing it for clout." I can't be mad. You notice I didn't get mad at you. I just like, nah, that's not how I feel. I can't be mad at you. I can't say, "How dare you?" Like, boy,
oh, so
you're
you're saying
crazy.
I'm the one that say he's doing it for clout now? I see how you try to flip it. It's cool. It's cool. I'm not
Look,
gonna
man,
let you
don't
do that.
look, Mark.
But
Mark,
okay,
hold
I
up.
get it. I
You
get
just talking right now. You talking about what's been said on air.
it.
That's what I'm talking about. I know you, brother. I know
Oh,
you.
oh,
But
yo,
either way, what I'm saying
I'm
is,
about to change your
he,
name on here because there's like 3 instances of you dry snitching. Like, I'm so
um,
like, dog, your name,
I'm asking you to keep it a
yo,
buck, and you
your
not.
name's
That's
about
what
to
I'm
be
saying.
Loose Change Williams. Like, what's
Hey,
good with you, fam? Like, I
hey,
don't
look,
know
man.
your problem.
I'm trying to understand that. First off, you're the one trying to throw me. Oh, just now I'm the one saying he's doing it for
Like,
clout.
no,
I
but
thought you was the
I'm
one. Like you trying
like,
to throw me
you're
under the
on
bus that
video
way.
talking this way. You're on video. You're on the recording talking this way right now. And I'm just bringing up what you're saying right now. You're bringing up shit
I'm
that
telling you
has
to
not
keep
been
that.
said.
I'm
Like,
telling you to keep that same energy. Don't try to put on the smiley face for the camera and for the podcast and be like, LeBron James, yeah, he's an all right guy. I don't got any problems with him. And then now when I bring it up, I say, yo, keep it a buck. Is that what you saying offline? And now I'm a snitch. Okay,
no,
fine. I'll
because
be a
yes,
snitch
you
then.
are. If I'm not the one saying it and you are, then you a
I'll be a
snitch.
snitch
Like
then.
that's how it
Keep
works.
that. I,
No,
I'll be a
okay.
I'll be a snitch for saying keep that same energy. Then that's
Yeah.
what I'll be. Keep that
Yeah.
same energy.
Don't worry, your rainbow wig is coming in the mail very soon, fam. I got you.
Hey, stop it, fam. Stop it.
Yeah, I got you. Your Skittle wig is on the way.
Hey, you do whatever you need to do. Now, is that conversation going to change offline, or is it going to be the same? Is it? I need to know. I need to know whenever you're going to
Okay,
change up. All
okay,
right.
okay, okay. Cat, you all cat, but it's good.
All right. Hey.
Uh, so anyway, moving on. But now it's time to get into the fun stuff. Something that the NBA actually did right is, man, these games started today, and in the first game of the evening, which was against Utah against New Orleans, that was a very interesting game, exciting game to watch. NBA's back. I don't want to really talk about what actually happened in the game so much because it was a standard NBA game. Um, New Orleans gave up the lead and lost in the end. They probably shouldn't have, but it is what it is. Particularly, but the more interesting things that happened in this game was the fact that um, prior to the game, that Meek Mill commercial was fire. Like Sean, you didn't see it, correct?
I did not see it.
All right. So so I'm gonna speak on it for you. But the Meek Mill commercial was fire. He showing all the social justice that the players are doing, and throughout the NBA broadcast, the commercials they were showing the social justice issues that the players are addressing, showing them out in the field, out in the trenches, in the middle of the protest, being a part of action. Um, and it was showing and the I don't have the particulars of things that Meek Mill was saying, but even then, him talking about prison reform and the things that he's personally went through, like that whole thing was great. The NBA did it right. In the first game, every player kneeled, every coach kneeled, every referee kneeled, like everybody in the building kneeled, and that's cool and dope and all. I wouldn't fault you if you chose to stand, but it just showed a unification that clearly we couldn't get 2 or 3 years ago for Cat. Even though it was the same issues then that are happening now, but I'd rather you be late to the party than not show up to the party at all. So,
Yep.
so this is dope. But I particularly wanted to say about that was this is why I vehemently disagreed with Kyrie about starting the season back up. Because if we didn't start the season back up, Sean, with this amount of attention, with these commercials, with all the eyes watching it, who would be watching it?
Nobody, man. Nobody. Like right now, let's just keep it a buck. On TV in general, you got TV shows that stop recording. You got basically TV is stale right now. If you talk about cable TV, there is nothing new on there. Everybody that I know is watching everything streaming right now. There is just in general, there isn't any programs on that is gathering the attention of millions at one time. There is nothing like that out there, not a TV show, not nothing. Now, with the NBA starting up, it was like magic. Everybody's like, we have nothing to watch. There is nothing more important than this right now. We're going to watch these games. I'm the only person in the world that didn't watch the game, like they didn't watch the games, but for the most part, this is it. Like, this is exactly what they wanted. You got all the eyes on the situation. There's nothing else better to watch TV. Watch on TV. MLB is kind of shut down. Like, this is it. You got the platform to where you can speak to all of America essentially at one time. That voice would have never been that focused and that strong if the NBA season never happened.
Yes, if Kyrie got his way of what he was pushing for. And yeah, man, like you said, it's everybody is focused on it. So I guarantee you that there is some right wing basketball nut who's like, I hate the fact that they're kneeling, and I hate this, and I hate these commercials, blah blah blah. But he's watching them. He's watching them.
He's watching. Yes.
He's watching them, and I guarantee you that somewhere along the line, he's learning something that Fox News didn't teach him. He's learning something, and where Fox News told him one thing, and he's like, well, they're saying something else. So maybe I should look into it. And this is the kind of things that you start to change people's minds. I just wish that the NBA would take it a little bit further and start working within their communities that they like. I'm talking about the NBA when I say the owners and the executives, not the coaches and the players. But I want them to take it a little bit further and start working actively within the communities that they operate in, not just throw money at situations. So you have anything else on that topic?
I'm good to go, brother.
All right. So in the actual games, it was actually a lot better than what we saw in the scrimmage matches. Remember when I said in the scrimmage matches that I was like, it looks like a TV set and everything like that? Well,
yeah.
Here, you actually see players in the few seats that they have available, but you see players sitting in watching the games. And players from other teams watching the game that's being played currently. And also on the screens where it just said NBA before, now on the screens, the idea that I brought up to you, where the fans could be watching at home and you have them set up as the people in the stands, they actually are implementing that. I do not think that I think that they did a great job there. I think they did an excellent job there. Like, of course I do, because that was my idea as well, and I'm a genius. So
I did mention that they had the technology and already halfway
yeah,
being in use.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I gotta say, it looked great. And the piped in noise, like the piped in crowd noise, didn't sound forced. It didn't sound forced at all. And so it was pretty cool. Like, what I mean, it wasn't like it was a roaring noise or a roaring ruckus like it can be sometimes in the actual stadium, but it made you feel like just a normal game for the most part. Like in a scrimmage match, it felt uncomfortable. It felt like something was off. In the actual live product, when it matters, it felt more normal. It felt like we are getting back to some state of normalcy
Yeah.
where I can let my hair down and kind of forget that what's going on outside for at least
Hmm.
an hour or two, which is all people really want from basketball. And I do appreciate basketball and the players for doing that.
Yeah.
Um, have anything?
Yeah, it's kind of off topic. I just wanted to know this. You got any plans to talk about this later about the the NBA and how they've been handling things right with the coronavirus?
Um,
Because if you're not talking about it later, I'll speak my piece right now.
oh, feel
Um,
free. Go ahead.
yeah, like we in earlier episodes, man, we spoke and we gave we I'm not gonna say bashed, but we gave them exactly what they needed to hear. With the Postmates situation, with the players getting sick, we kind of pointed it out that, hey, man, y'all out here just pushing forward, and I did question their motives when they kept pushing forward.
Yeah, you
I'm
did.
not. I
Not me.
said I just said me, right? I said
Okay.
me. I
Okay.
did, right?
Okay.
Now, with that said, you know, I can't let them 1,000% off the hook, Mark.
Um,
But I will say this: they have shown that. Look at all these other leagues. These other leagues can't even open up for a day or two without everybody getting sick. I'm saying other leagues. MLB, be talking to you. You got
right.
people sick out here
Because the
quick.
hockey's running great. Boxing
Yeah,
is doing fine.
but
UFC is
but
doing
out of
fine.
but out of everybody outside, I don't count the UFC. You got two or three guys in the room, but out of the sports that have a lot of players, NBA seems to be doing the best, head and shoulders above the rest. And it's been a long time. You talking about Russ Westbrook and Harden. I believe those were the last two people to get sick, and that was a while ago. So, and that didn't happen in the dome.
Yeah,
So
that happened
so
outside the game.
there's the number for the dome is still zero.
Yeah.
So whatever they're doing there, it's working.
Especially
And
seeing how the dome is in ground zero now. Like it's in the epicenter.
man, it's amazing. They are doing a phenomenal job. It's working. Uh, Now, if the local governments could just take a look, take a peek, and be like, man, what are they doing that we're not doing? I don't know, man. But they're doing a great job with that. And then also, I'd like to say, just from what everybody was saying today about the presentation of the actual games, and making the viewers at home feel like they're actually watching a regular game. That's a big deal to us, man. It's a big deal to us. So I feel like being innovators, once again, they knock it out of the park. I can sit here and talk about their motives and how they will fight to no end to make sure that they're the innovators, and fight to no end to make sure that they're getting their money. But I have nothing to say right now, because in the end, it's working out. And kudos to them. They shut me the hell up. So You know what I'm saying? You probably won't hear me saying nothing negative about what they doing and how they moving within the bubble for the rest of this time. You know what I'm saying? Unless something drastically changes, they they got my respect. So
Right. Well, yeah, man. So yeah, so moving on into that's a perfect segue what you're talking about within the bubble because that brings us to the MLB where basically they didn't have any it was like they were didn't prepare for this situation at all in the event that someone got sick. Seems like the MLB just kind of said, yo, we want to hash out this whole money situation. Everything else, we'll figure it out later. Like because they had no protocols in place for an event that someone got sick, and the fact that someone got sick and then he infect and then there was an outbreak within that team, and now two players. I mean, not two players, two executives are sick from the Phillies. This seems like a situation to which it could have been avoided if you had some protocol for when a player gets sick because the Marlins had one player sick before the game, and then a day after, and then
snowballed, man.
then it just snowballed from there. Like
Yeah.
it just got ridiculous from there. So I feel as though if they did something a little bit more, I guess, stringent as far as taking care of these players, then this could have been a little bit more avoidable. And NFL players are looking at this. And this is what makes me more confident that the NFL will be able to come back, Sean. Because
they learn from
NFL,
everybody's mistakes right now.
yeah, basically, man, I don't take the NFL to be wise people because wise people like see the mistakes coming and just but I'd take them to be smart and be like, all right, like, and I think they'll be wise in this situation and like just be like, I'm gonna learn from your mistake instead of make my mistake and then learn from it. In this situation, I can expect them to be wise about it. So because in this situation, they got time. They have a little bit over a month to actually figure this out, and they stress to these players: don't be Lou Williams. Don't go to the strip club. Don't be the Marlins. Don't go to the bar. Don't get lazy. With like, stay vigilant. You all you got. Your teammates is all you got. Hang out with each other. Don't like don't let your aunt come over like you know what I'm saying that you haven't seen in a month and a half. Like nah, you stay to your family, stay to the people that you work with, and keep and create your own mobile bubble, like by just staying strict to a program to where you guys won't get affected that way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but some players they got the fear in them and they decided to opt out. So like 29 players opted out. I feel like I've been talking long enough, so I'm gonna let you take this over for the time being.
Man, oh, you know what, man? I'm gonna try not to be so cynical this time. I'm gonna try not to be, Mark. I'm trying to. See, I can understand why you would be hopeful. I don't understand where where the faith comes in.
Where the optimism, man?
Yeah, where the faith comes in. I could be hopeful because everything is there for them to look at, to learn from. It's right there in their face. It is. So I get that. So I understand what you're saying. I understand to some degree why you feel the way you do. To me, though, like I said, I just don't expect competence out of incompetent people. But furthermore, past that, you know, there's there's the fact that you have 53 players on a team, and then you have like 20 people on the coaching staff, and then you got the 10 players on the practice squad, and
Yeah,
then
it's a
and
lot of people.
then there's certain executives that are going to be there, around them, especially for the games. Matter of fact, it's one of the few sports where all the executives show up for the game. Like they're there, So um, it's one of those things where it's like it's just the sheer numbers of people. I just don't understand how they're going to be able to socially distance. I don't
Oh,
understand how they're going to be able to. It's hard to control a group of 20 people.
well, I
It's
don't.
got to be impossible to control a group of 80.
Listen, I see. Even in what you're saying, there's a way to do that. Because let's say the executives do show up, those stadiums, those stadiums are huge. And guess what? Nobody is in the stands. You can social distance your executives in the press boxes because nobody's using up any of those press boxes. So you could social distance the executives in the press boxes, or they could social distance in the crowd. And I'm pretty sure they wouldn't probably have a problem with being in the stadium seating um, in the months of September and October. But come November and stuff, them dudes is all up in the press boxes. But you have plenty of press boxes in these stadiums to where they can social distance and still be there. So you'll have you'll have those situations where you can possibly avoid.
Well, what they going to do about the locker room?
Well, the
Are they
locker
going to
room.
different locker
Look, see,
rooms?
see the problem here, like when it comes to the locker room, I do not think that press should be allowed at these games.
Facts.
Like, like
If
press,
they are allowed,
like press.
there should be some type of, I'm not even going to say protocol, because when you say press is loud, there's a whole room full of people.
Right,
There's there should be a Zoom conference for the press.
right. That
Yeah, because somebody's gonna feel left out. Somebody's gonna complain. You know, look, there's no way for us to really have y'all in a room having a literal press conference without it being a bunch of people that just came from different states and different locations to come
right,
out and watch this.
right. So I do feel as though like after game press conferences should be like a Zoom call, um, and something of that nature. Especially seeing how Zoom calls can have up to 100 people in it. Like they can easily figure it out that way. So I mean, if you just use your brain, you can find ways to make this work. The only way that it doesn't work is if players just don't take it seriously and they go to Magic City and they go to wherever and do
So, I mean,
and
this
and do and do rando stuff. Like
this
outside of
is,
that,
but this is what I will say, man. You play football. We talk about this. You play football. I played football. There's a group of people. There's a majority of the players that are just like, yo, I'm here. I know I'm not the superstar. I'm on the team. I'm just here to do my part. They're not happy to be there, but they're just like, yo, I'm here to do my part. And they're kind of just already in that followership role. Then you have the group of players that the smaller group, but the smaller group of players that are just, they have that arrogance. They feel in themselves. They know they're good. They kind of feel invincible. They feel like they can do whatever they want. Um, this
but
is this is
but
my
see
thing. There's
that's the thing
always
though.
going to be one. There's always going to be at least one.
But see
At least
that's
that's the way I feel.
like here's the thing. This is why I feel comfortable is because had the Marlon situation not happened, I'd be like yes. But because the Marlon situation happened and it being so bad, I think players are now like, all right, I need to chill. Like, and like the fact, and here's another thing. Lane Johnson also came up with Lane Johnson tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles. He came up with the coronavirus. And if you look back through the things that he was doing throughout the summer, like the different social challenges, like he did like a wing challenge and all this other stuff where he was out and about promoting and stuff.
Yeah.
And now he has the coronavirus. Like, you can't exactly contact trace where he got it or how he got it, but like basically he wasn't being the safest in going about his business when we did.
Um.
So
See, you just
so
got
so now
you
we're
got too
talking.
much faith, Mark, man.
So now there's I just feel as though there's too many examples for these players. I think I I am having faith in these players to be smart enough to look at the situations that have already happened and be like, okay, we can avoid that, or we can at the very least not do what happened
See,
here.
I have faith in 95%. It's the 5% that I'm worried about, and I understand that it's all it takes is that 5% of people to go out there and do stupid stuff. That's my problem. I agree that a majority of the players will see what's happening, but I just don't see all of the players. So there's always, like I said, just the same way you have the few extremes on one side where they're just saying, "Look, I'm just going to forego the season altogether." There has to be just as many on the other side that are saying, man, I just don't think I'm going to catch it. I don't think it's as serious as people are saying. I don't think it's, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have somebody on the other side of it that's just like, or they're just going to be like, I don't care. I'm here to play, and that's it. And then they're just going to go about their business as if this is regular life and we don't have a pandemic going on. So maybe I'm, like I said, I'm trying not to be too cynical, too pessimistic about the thing. So I was saying, like, I'm saying 5%. Let's just even lower it down. Let's say 2% of the population in the NFL decides that they want to be knuckleheads. That is a large number of players. 2%. You know, so
Okay, well,
that's my
um,
issue. That's my issue. It's just this. I think it's not even about whether the players are smart or not. I'm just saying sheer numbers. It's like somebody's going to accidentally, intentionally or accidentally do something that's going to put them in danger.
right. Well, so so some players feel like you, and
That's why they're not playing. They got
and
opted out.
and that's exactly why they're not playing. So there's 29 players that have opted out. Now, the opt out itself, the way that it works is if you are a high risk person to opt out, you get 350,000 stipend for the year, and if you are a low risk player to opt out, you get 150,000 stipend for the year. And what determines whether you're high risk or low risk is basically if you have small children in your home, like if your wife just had a child, or if you have anyone sick in your immediate family within your home, or if you are pre-existing conditions within your home, like yourself included, and things that make you low risk is obvious, like if you don't have any of those things. But basically, kudos to the NFL for figuring out to say, look, we'll pay you regardless if you're low risk or high risk. If you choose to opt out, you're getting paid. Kudos to the NFL for doing that, because we just spoke about the WNBA not paying players, not paying players for being if they choose to opt out and they're considered low risk. So and we haven't heard much about the MLB or NBA in that opt out situation. I don't think NBA players are getting paid if they opted out, but they were only due one more check anyway. So it didn't, most of them, it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
But the big thing about this opt out is that once you choose to opt out, it's irrevocable.
Yeah. Finito.
Meaning that you forfeit your season. Like you can't, so you chose to opt out today, you have to live with that forever for the rest of this season. You can't come back week 6 talking about, oh, I want to play now. No, it don't work like that.
Yep.
And what I find very interesting about that is the players. Some players, there will always be a spot for you. Like if you're an offensive tackle, you choose to opt out. Like a good offensive tackle will always find a home, no matter what. If you are if you're basically any offensive lineman, a quarterback, if you're really good, you choose to opt out, you'll be fine as well. But specifically the players that I want to talk about and I find interesting is being a running back and opting out is a dangerous thing. Man.
Whew. They already don't like y'all. They already try to get rid of y'all at every turn. You know what I'm saying?
Like and the running back behind you is chomping at the bit to play. And if he performs while you're gone, you don't have a spot. I guarantee your spot on the team isn't there when you come back the next season. Like I guarantee that. So that's a dangerous position to be in. I found it odd that Devin Funchess opted out this season because I'm like, dog, you opted out this season. You'll be lucky if you have a spot anywhere next season. Like you're already a fringe player as it is. And you
being nice by calling him a fringe player, but continue. You being real nice.
Hey man, I'm just trying to be polite. So
yeah.
But yeah, you're already a French player as it is, my man. So you opting out this season, it's a dangerous game for your NFL career. But I do not knock you taking your life seriously over your NFL career. I'm just saying, don't be surprised if in 2021 nobody's looking to sign Devin Funchess.
I would just say, I hope he understand. I hope he understood the risks. I hope he understood what his personal situation and his personal value on the market was before he made that decision. You know what I'm saying? Some people might make that decision, be like, yeah, I understand. I might not be back in the league. Cool, whatever. I hope he understands that because that's exactly what his situation is. Like, this is crazy, Mark. I hate to say it this way, but once you reach a certain age as a wide receiver, you better be at least a third guy. You better at least be a slot guy. You better be somebody that's on the field because once you 26, 27, you're no longer going to be on the roster. They'd rather say, I'd rather have you not on the roster at all, considering he was a high pick, not too high, but high enough in a draft, and he was a starter at some point. They're just going to look at him and be like, can he be a starter? No. Well, then what do we need him for? We'll get a young dude that we could develop. Why do we need him if he's 26, 27 and he can't be a starter in this league? You wide receivers, if you that age and you're not on the field, you're disposable. He has to understand that. It's not like somebody's going to bring him in at the 5th wide receiver position and be like, yeah, we'll kick tires on him. We'll see what happens once no, man. That's not how it works at that point in his career where he's at his age, at his skill level.
Right.
So he's rolling the dice ain't even like that's it. Like you better hope that, the Packers just say, you know what, man, we didn't even get to see you really. You know what, we want to see what you got. Maybe they just say that because their wide receiver situation is kind of crappy right now. So maybe they will. Maybe you want the right team for that, but I still think he's in danger. What team is that? The Packers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he maybe he looked at it that way, but I still think it's still a chance that A-Rod says, hey man, haven't you looked around? I don't utilize big, slow guys that can catch. Hey, don't you know my track record? You know what I'm saying? Like that's so.
All
Yeah,
right.
but go
So
continue, man.
yeah. So unpacking other players that chose to opt out in the league, other than Devin Funches, it 49ers had 0 players to opt out. Bears had 1. Bills had 1. Um, Broncos had 1. Browns had 2. Bucks 0. Cardinals 0. Chargers 0. Chiefs had 2. Now, at the Chiefs, the one that their starting guard opted out, and their running back Damian Williams opted out. Now, mind you, Damian Williams was a very important piece of that team in the Super Bowl last year.
Very important.
Like he pretty much carried that team. Um,
In the
but
fourth quarter, man. Yeah,
but
especially in the fourth quarter.
you chose to but now you chose to opt out, and I, I think they're going to be looking at Clyde Harrell and be like, "Yo, uh, see what you can do, boy." And if he can play Damian Williams, I do not think that you're going to have a safe spot coming back.
I
Like,
I hope he understands how he got his job.
yeah,
The Chiefs could have waited to see what the fallout was with Kareem Hunt the same way that they just did with Tyreek Hill. They said we got somebody and they got rid of him immediately. Damian Williams, like you have to understand, they even with that situation, you finish out the season strong. What they do, they brought in Shady McCoy. You understand how fickle it is, you know. You
right.
understand how fickle that starting running back position is when you're somebody like a Damian Williams. Like you have to understand that. Man. Le'Veon, everybody thought Le'Veon was an exception, man. They sent his ass out. We got James Conner, and he showed out. That's it. All they need to do is see a glimpse from the next guy, and you're done.
Yeah, particularly at the running back position. It's a shame that things are that way, but hey, Tupac said it best. That's just the way it is. So,
Yep.
moving on, the Colts had 0 players. Cowboys had 2. Dolphins had 0. Eagles had 1. And the one player that is opting out is the player that they traded for, Marquise Goodwin. It's not that Marquise Goodwin was phenomenal with the 49ers in the first place. So it's not a terrible thing. The only thing that makes it bad is the fact that the Eagles are at a loss at receiver already, or basically the position is already questionable, and now it's just that much more questionable with Marquise Goodwin opting out for the season. So the Falcons,
it was questionable enough. Real quick, it was questionable enough for them to go get him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Falcons has no players opting out. Giants has Nate Solder opting out, which is funny because Nate Solder was like their only offensive lineman that could play, and now he's gone. So yeah, I'm gonna just like I said in the first place, David Jones ain't gonna work out. Like that's
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones. Excuse me, I apologize.
We don't need to learn his name. He ain't gonna be here long, man.
Long.
Yeah. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about what his name is, man.
Yeah. Semantics, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Jaguars, 0. Jets, offensive lineman, they lost 1. Lions lost 1. Packers lost 1. Devin Funches, we already covered. Panthers losing 1. Now the Patriots, they are losing 1. They're losing 6. 6 players are opting out. They lose and 2 of them, are like defensive stalwarts. Like we're talking about Patrick Chung and Dante Howard.
Dante Hightower. Yeah.
Yeah, Hightower. Why did I say Howard? Sorry.
That's crazy.
Anyway, but yeah, they that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt a lot, man. I don't know what this like, man. The the genius that is Bill Belichick. He's gonna have his chance to show up this year. He doesn't have his MVP Pro Bowl uh, goat of a quarterback anymore. And now he has 6 players that opted out on him. I don't know what they're going to do come this season, but I'm looking forward to watching it and figuring it out.
Yeah, I don't know what it even means that they have that many players opting out. I don't know if it's just that playing for the Patriots ain't that fun, or I don't know if it's their genuine concern. It just happens to be a coincidence. But you know how I feel about coincidences with the Patriots, especially when they become convenient.
Right.
You know, when we halfway through the season and it looks like they're playing like trash, it all of a sudden becomes convenient. You know, I'm not going to say, but at this point, because this is involving individual players, you know, and people, you know, real pandemic and people being concerned worldwide. I'm not gonna put that on them, but to me, I'm not gonna put it on them as far as strategy. But to me, it says a lot that they just immediately opted out. Like, yeah, we out, we sitting down.
Right.
Like I said, I don't know if it has anything to do with the culture, how hard they work, those guys, or what. You know how it is. Sometimes you be working so hard, it's not even that you don't like the job. You just like, yo, I need a break.
So Raiders none, Rams none, Ravens lost 2. Saints is losing 2, both tight ends, which is kind of interesting. Seahawks losing 1, Steelers losing 1, Texans 1, Titans 1, Vikings losing 1, and then the Washington football team also losing 1. And
Yeah.
that's pretty much it, man. So 29 players total opted out, and there was no follow-up to the opt-out. So
Yeah.
it looks like that at least for the time being, that's just the amount of players that are going to opt out for the season. And that's not terrible for the NFL, but for those players that are opting out that are starters or that are getting playing time, that means that there's players that are waiting in the wing that'll finally get a chance to shine.
You say NFL, not for long.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to be careful.
Yeah, got to be careful because you could very well be opting yourself out of a job by opting out for the season. It's just one of those unfortunate circumstances that exist. So, man, with that being said, I don't really have much else to talk about. You have anything that you wanted to cover before we go?
Nope. I'm good, man. I'm good on everything until next time, man.
Yes. Until next time, thank you everyone for joining us, listening in. If you're watching, thank you as well. Yeah. Till next time. Peace.
All right.